Gas here for a vintage cube. So the last one we played, we kind of tried to force mono green and it ended up doing pretty terribly. Definitely a lesson in this is what happens when you try to force. How's Parallax Tide doing? Oh my god, 31 trophies. This guy's unstoppable. 31 trophies. That is a lot of trophies. I wonder if this guy streams at all. Alright, let's open some soul rings. Okay, we do not have a soul ring. However, we have a coalition relic, which is a lot better than a worn power stone. And that's a good card. There's two Dragon Lords, Silumgar being one of my favorites. There's also Counterspell that's just very good, but yeah, I think you can't beat the flexibility of the relic here. So we'll take that and see what we get. Okay, here, well, there's Dak Faden, who's so good. You know, you play him on turn 3 and take someone's Signet, and it's just an absolute beating. There's the Worst Sword, so I'm not interested in that. And then there's Consecrated Sphinx, who's just very strong. And then I'm also very partial to Grook Wildspeaker, but I think I'm going to take Dak Faden, especially with the first pick relic. That's very powerful. Here, Demonic Tutor might be just the best card. It's not really in the same color pile as Dak. There's also Strip Mine, just good, and sometimes you can get Crucible of Worlds to be unfair. I like Villainous Wealth, it's a good ender. And I think that's it. There's also an Oath of Nissa, if you want to go like kind of mono planeswalkers. That's not bad, actually. That can actually be quite good with a deck. Strip Mine or Oath of Nissa? Yeah, just Oath of Nissa, Relic, and then pick up like every single planeswalker. That could be a lot of fun. Okay, let's do that. I think Strip Mine's the better card. I'm gonna be mad if the next pick has the Crucible of Worlds. But there's a lot more planeswalkers than there are Crucibles of Worlds. And you can think of Coalition as a kind of an Oath of Nissa because it sort of lets you play any planeswalker, right? So now maybe we can just go for multicolor good stuff. Okay. Here what? There's Awakening Zone, some strong red cards with Fire Blast and Ancient Grudge. Ancient Grudge is really good. There's also Woodfall Primus, which is a nice green finisher. I wonder if it's just Ancient Grudge, though. Because, yeah, we're going to be playing red and green. Yeah, let's take Ancient Grudge. Okay. Another Grook. Lightning Bolt. Probably the best direct damage spell. But there's a Phyrexian Metamorph, and we can copy our own relic. We can copy creatures. This is one of my favorite cards. We'll take this and categorize it as a 3-mana spell. Alright, I like this start so far. So now we want to draw mana and planeswalkers, I think. And of course we're getting neither of those. There's just elves. There's also Sundering Titan. Maybe it's Sundering Titan. Yeah, let's take Sundering Titan tightness is the highest possible upside. It's not great if we're playing like 5-color stuff, but here, creature, instant, or sorcery. Not sure I really like Bring to Light, but I guess you can find like something up to what, like I guess up to 5 or less. I think the best spell here is Banishing Light. There's also just Electrolyze. And draws a card, and then Gear Hulk as a sort of finisher. I'm gonna have to decide quickly. I take the Banishing Light. Ooh. Well, there's. I think I will take Jitte. Jitte is that good. And now it's maybe worth looking at more creatures. Let's move this to the sideboard for now. Maybe I should have taken the Gear Hulk. Yeah, this just wrecks so many things. Like, you don't even need to hit that many times with it. You know, even once, and then you just get the two counters makes a big difference. And we don't have to play it. Oh, here, you know, there is Rex Sage, which goes with our Artifact Hate theme. And there's just this very strong card, Dragon Lord Ujitai. Maybe, I think Dragon Lord is the strong. Actually, what am I doing? I should be taking Gideon, right? Because Gideon totally fits with the Oath plan. Yeah, let's take Gideon. Okay. Well, there's Dark Confidant. I'm not sure if that's what we want. There's the Bad Sword and Resto. Resto's pretty good. Maybe we just take Resto. A reasonable white plan. I like Mirren Crusader with Jitte, but I also feel like a deck like this, maybe Day of Judgment is very good if you have a lot of Planeswalkers to protect your stuff. Yeah, I think this is a more reasonable pick here. Okay. This, I suppose I'll take a Recruiter. I don't see myself playing it. Okay. And another Planeswalker. And another Wrath. Okay. Nobody's playing white, as usual. Alright, so far 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 Planeswalkers. This might be a fun Super Friends deck. This is not really friendly, even with Jitte, but okay, no Planeswalkers to take. Yeah, I kind of wish instead of Banishing Light, I'd taken that Gear Hulk now. I'm a little scared to play cards like this. Tarka, however, that's a fun card. Tarka is quite a fun card. There's a Tarka, Swords, and then Breeding Pool, I think, are the cards I like the best here. I think a Tarka is maybe not very reasonable. I think it's Breeding Pool or Swords. And I think Breeding Pool is the more disciplined pick because it works with Dak in Oath. So let's do that. Okay, so we have 2 Planeswalkers. There's also Tinker. If I want to go the Tinker deck, but no, let's do Planeswalkers. Chandra and Jace. I like this Chandra a lot. And then there's also a Signet for just like really strong. Maybe Signet is the actual play, because you know we still want to be able to accelerate into stuff. Yeah, I think we have to take the Signet. We need it's very hard to win without fast mana of some kind. Well, there's Show and Tell. And there's also Lotus, which is another kind of play all your stuff card. There's Tezzeret, but yeah, let's take the Lotus here. Fast mana and Planeswalkers. Here's a Mystic, which would find Jitte. I wonder if it's not Hangerback Walker, just for, and there's also Flooded Strand to find more colored stuff. Yeah, I think we need to take a land here. Flooded Strand or Temple. And Temple is so perfect with Dak. I think we have to take the Temple here. Alright. Another Planeswalker or land question. I think this time we take the Planeswalker. Another. Well, there's Tinker and Mishra's Workshop. Somebody's going to be happy. Let's just take Elspeth here. And now there's no Planeswalker to take. So Temple Garden seems perfectly fine. There's also Council's Judgment. But, yeah, let's take the Temple Garden. Arbor Elf is a kind of acceleration, but with untapped target forest, it's a little more limited, although we do have some multi-land forest. There's also Mentor, who's fine. It works actually pretty well with this kind of deck. And then just more duels. I think I like the Mentor here. We're going to be playing a lot of Planeswalkers, and this plays early. Oh, Tarka came back. And Swords. Yeah, I think Swords, just 1 mana. You can't beat the power for 1 mana. Well, Silverblade. I really am tempted to do Silverblade because of Jitte, but I think we need to maybe think that we're not playing Jitte, you know, and instead go for a Declaration. Yeah, let's just play the Temple. It's another, you know, plays with all our multicolored stuff. Okay, great. Tezzeret came back. And Faith's Fetters, very nice because it deals with everything. There's Shambling Vent, but so far we have no black Planeswalkers, so I think I'll take the Faith's Fetters as another deals with stuff. Probe. Yeah, I like Probe here. Okay. Wow, last pick Council's Judgment. That's very surprising, given how powerful that card is. So here there's no multi-lands, but there is a Badlands, although I'm not sure how good Badlands is since we have no black so far. So this is kind of a dead pack for us. Is there anything else we'd like? Like a Bloodbraid maybe? Just to cascade into something? There's a lot of cascade targets for the Bloodbraid, but... And then there's also Memory Jar, which is just... It's good even if you just play it, you know, for stuff. And there's like cards like Incinerate. So I wonder if it's Den Protector. You know, they kill your stuff. He's an early play. Yeah, Den Protector. Well, I ran out of time, but okay. I'm lucky there. So here's a Shardless Agent for Cascade again. Wonder if it's Marsh Flats. Let's see. Plains or Swamp. It does find our Temple Garden. That might be what we need to take. There's also Dismember. But we have Swords and Faith's Fetters. And then there's Elvish Mystic. Yeah, Elvish Mystic. It is rampy, and it just gives mana directly. Okay. Hollowed Fountain I really like, but let's take Planeswalkers. Johnny or Xenagos? Xenagos gives mana. That's really nice, but we don't really have that many creatures, so I'm going to take a Johnny. Skull Clamp. Not very much a Skull Clamp deck. Mana Leak is fantastic. And then there's Wandering Fumarole. Whew. I think we need more multi-lands. I'm going to take the Fumarole. Got Duress. Maybe Mystic Confluence. If we can play a Planeswalker and then just sit on Confluence, it's so good. We don't really have enough creatures for Greaves. And there's just O-Ring, but we already have Banishing Light, so let's take Confluence. Okay. Now there's a sword. I don't feel like we're a sword deck. There's also Geast. I don't feel like we're a Geast deck. I think it's Path to Exile. Even the bad Swords to Plowshares is still Swords to Plowshares. Now this is a Planeswalker, but that you don't actually cast. This is pack 3, right? So I think we're kind of running low on Planeswalker-y type stuff. If there's Riftbolt, Delver is not going to be it. Bargain, I think. Yeah, maybe Kith. God, I don't think we're playing any of these. I guess Riftbolt is the most likely to play. Maybe at 1, you know. Like, kill their elf or whatever. Okay. Murderous Cut. Yeah, we'll just take the Needle Spires. Well, Jar came back. Yeah, we'll just take him. Man, an Inferno Titan. I know this is a Planeswalker deck, but this is such just a good card on its own. I'll take it. Okay, and another Planeswalker. Won't say no to that. Maybe we're not playing Titan. Yeah, I don't think we're playing Titan. I really would have traded this for Mana Leak. Man, no one wants Skull Clamp. That's just bizarre. Brain Maggot? No. Yes, the card we're most likely to play is Cloudskate. Can O-Ring. And a sword. Okay, I'll take a sword in the sideboard. I like how we have a white aggro deck in the sideboard here that nobody wants. Alright, let's do the rebuild thing here and only look at Planeswalkers. Just put all the Planeswalkers in. Regardless. Okay. So that's 8 Planeswalkers. And now the support cards. So Oath and Gilded Lotus and Relic and Signet. So it's no creatures, a bunch of Planeswalkers and cards to help. And they count Mystic as since it's a ramp card, as a support card as well. And now I'm going to play Ancient Grudge. I think it's certainly main deckable. If you can play it, you should play Ancient Grudge. I'm kind of a believer in that. Now we have a lot of white cards, and then some red and green. There's Path, Swords. I really like the idea of playing both Day of Judgment and Wrath of God from where we are, right? So if we add them both and add Path and Swords and O-Ring and Banishing Light, this is sort of like spot removal, 1-for-1 removal, and creature sweepers that also support planeswalkers. It doesn't deal with opponent, and actually it does. We have 2 cards that deal with opposing planeswalkers. That's 20 cards, and we have effectively no creatures if you count Mystic as a ramp spell. I think also Metamorph is a must play. So now we're left with there's Inferno Titan for just raw power. It's Jar. Faith's Fetters, which I actually really like, also deals with almost anything, and Council's Judgment. Maybe we just play Faith's Fetters and Council's Judgment. It's just like deals with absolutely everything. We play Pool, Spires, Garden. Let's see what Magic suggests. Probably a lot of white. The problem here is the Oath. This is the sort of green problem that now the Oath and Elf aren't very good with not enough green support. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, 1, 2, 3. I thought we had a fetch land somewhere. 4, 5. So we have 5 green sources for these 2. I'm okay with having no islands and just assuming these 2 will be cast via Relic, Lotus, or Oath, and adding into Swamp 2 green sources. In terms of red, there's also the DAC for blue, which we want. Blue, we have 1, 2, 3. So 3 blue, and then Relic, Oath, and so yeah, 6. All right, I think that's fine. And then there's just Grudge. If we get rid of the Grudge, then we kind of don't care about red on its own kind of thing, and we can just have like the green and the white. So that's better. Let's see, how much green do we have now? 4, 5, 6. So 6 immediate green sources for Mystic and Oath. That's certainly better. Maybe we can take 1 red out and add a green. Which white do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So 7 white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7 green. It's definitely pretty janky. Oh, and we're allowed 1 more land. So add a white, I think, would be the right play here. So we're not playing Den Protector. So cards I would have liked to play: Den Protector, Titan. I think this is not happening. Use double. Maybe Probe would be fine. And I think I would like to Mentor as well, given that we have almost all no creatures. This would be really good. This guy would be so strong. Yeah, we literally have, what, 2 creatures? The Mystic, and who else? Who else is a creature? What, the Metamorph? Man. This is good in this deck. Maybe we just take out one of the Wraths and put in Mentor, just because he's easier to play. Okay, I like that. Alright, let's take one more look at our deck. I thought I should take out the Elvish Mystic, because although it is ramp, it's such a heavy green commitment to get that turn 1 Mystic that it seems I'm sort of hurting my chances of other things, whereas the Oath of Nissa doesn't need to be immediate, you know, it can be like later and still be useful. So yeah, I thought of, let's see, if I do this is 3, 4. So maybe I add a Plains and a Forest. 16. I think we definitely need 17 lands, so maybe 1 Plains, 1 Forest. Maybe just 2 Plains, I don't know. A Plains and a Forest. And so what I did is I took out the Elf and I put in the Day of Judgment. So this way our only real creature is Monastery Mentor, so everything else should be a trigger. Yeah, let's give this a shot. Oh wait, Breeding Pool. I should be playing that. That's just plain bad to not have that. Okay. Any other things I'm missing? Yeah, so Swords and Jitte won't be good here. The yes, none of these, maybe none of the. I don't think Mystic Confluence is getting cast. So really, the only other cards I think in consideration would be Den Protector and Titan. Even then, I actually think Jar might be better. So, well, let's give this a shot. See how we go. We have a lot of white removal. Really tons of white removal. 1, 2, 3, 4 dedicated creature removal, and then Light, Ring, and Judgment and Faith Fetters. So that's 4 sort of generic removal. So we're definitely the most like spot removal heavy deck I've played in a long time. Let's play first, and I'm the most scared of our mana base. Okay, well that's of course not a turn 3 deck, but I guess we'll keep this and see how it goes. Kind of what we'd be expecting. At least we can play Ancient Grudge, so let's scry and a Tamiyo. Yeah, I'm gonna bottom that because until we have something that makes our Planeswalkers castable, everything else is like not super good. What's Blakely do? Oh god, is he discarding something and reanimating it on turn 2? Yes, he is. Okay, well, that's going to be a problem. Okay. Hopefully it's an Animate Dead that we can Ancient Grudge. So do I just Mentor here? I might as well. Iona will wreck us, but I gotta put something into play here. Don't be Exhume. Yes, be enemy dead. That means I can grudge. Oh no, it's artifact, not enchantment. Alright, that's gonna wreck me, so then I can't play a Johnny because he's gonna name white. And now what? Now what? That really ruins kind of everything here. I can play Dak. And I guess with Dak, maybe I can just draw and discard. What am I trying to get, though? Because with Iona on white, all I have is other planeswalkers. So maybe like a tap-down Tameo or something. Yeah, Johnny would have been great. I guess I'll play the Breeding Pool untapped and then see if I can Dak. That's the best choice, I think, right? No, wait. What am I doing? Blue, red, and I play Dak. And I think we want to draw and discard, right? Okay, O-Ring's not going to help. And so I'm just going to get rid of, yes, and Garuk doesn't help a whole lot either, does it? But more planes don't really help either. So let's just discard rain planes. And we'll be done here. Best we can do is buy time here. So bye-bye Dak. No, he's just hitting us. Okay, not too shabby. Let's try again, see if we can get something. Day of Judgment. Not going to do a whole lot either. That won't do it, and neither will that, so we'll just do that. I guess attack. If only this were an artifact. Hit us again. Okay, now we need to draw something. Okay, that's a Lotus, which would let us Garuk, but that's not going to be enough right now. And Faith's Fetters, so... Alright, we're dead. Yep. Well, Iona does kill us. Okay. Not sure we have any cards that can really change that, so, you know, Iona does do it. Alright, let's just run it back and see if we can... I think we just can't beat that draw is what it comes down to. Okay, that's a mulligan. And that's not great, but I suppose I'll keep this. We can play all of our... I'll put that on the bottom. Forest. Guess maybe I should have led with the planes, but there's no double white spells I have. Okay, there's an O-ring. I just have to... Please don't play Iona. Okay. Okay, that's an oath. That's helpful. Why don't we first oath? See what we get. and decide on our land afterwards. A Mentor. Metamorph. Huh, you know, I think I like Metamorph. I like Mentor, but I think I like Metamorph better. If he plays some really horrible thing, this is a chance to stop it. So let's take Metamorph. Yeah. And now we can play I suppose. That way if he hymns us or whatever, we have all our lands in play at least. Don't think I'm going to O-ring the Looter. I know it gives him more chances at Iona. But... oh god, okay. Here it comes. Yeah. Yep. And Sheoldred. Okay. Well, at least whatever if he's dumb enough to play a Sheoldred, then we can Metamorph. No, that doesn't even do it, right? Because if he plays Sheoldred and then we play Metamorph, we lose to Sheoldred. But I think he'll just play Iona, and then we can play Iona back at him. And I think then we can play on black, and maybe that's something. Doesn't reanimate his Iona now, we play Gideon and kill his Looter. Okay. And he's got a counter. That's fine. Mind Twist. Oh, for the love of Jesus. Whew. I'm getting wrecked. Now I really wish I'd O-ring that Looter. Oh man, and that is going to beat us really bad. Since everything we have is non-creature. Swords. Not the best spell to cast right now. His deck is just like the absolute nemesis. I think maybe we should have, the right move was just to O-ring the Looter after all. Yeah. God, that Mind Twist. So I can swords, he counters, day he counters, he still counters both. Yikes. No, it doesn't even stop. Then it lets us play Planeswalkers at least, but I don't think that's the right play. Maybe at least get him down to one island or something. Makeshift Mannequin. Uh-oh. That's a target. Okay, and now he's going to do that on Iona, I think. Which will probably F us. No, on Sheoldred. Okay. Oh, and he did it like as an instant, right. I see. So I made a mistake there. I should have, on my turn there, still done the swords to target and kill it, because now he's still going to get the Iona ability. So that was a misplay. And then that's going to lock us out on white. So that was a true misplay. Yep. Yep. Maybe. And yeah, since with the Iona I can't even cast these, so. Alright. Don't know if I have any outs at this point. Yeah, with that. Okay, well, that was pretty fast. So, to recap, when he did mannequin on this, during that turn I could have done swords, which would have at least killed the Shuldred, and then prevented the immediate beating with Iona. And then maybe I could have tried to force through like Johnny or swords or something like that. Okay. Let's see if we can do better game 2. Yeah, Ionia is really like the worst possible card we can face. Okay. Well, we have a Scryland and a Wrath, so we'll keep this. And Ancient Grudge. Yeah, that might be good. He has like a Signet or something like that. Or, yeah, a library. Okay, so he did that wrong. You should have done that end of my turn. Then he wouldn't have to discard a card. Okay, and now he's going to have to discard a card again. Well, the fact that he's Storm means he's probably going to have artifacts. It also means our spot removals in white's going to be terrible. Or at least all our creature removal will be bad. Alright, so now what? Come on, play Signet. Just play Signet. Impulse, okay. Why did he keep doing this stuff that makes him have to discard? I don't understand this. His way of thinking here. Now he just has to keep discarding. Alright, well, we're not going to Wrath, and all we can play is Ancient Grudge. He has his own deck fading, okay? Inquisition. Mana costs 3 or less. Okay, well, he can take my Grudge. At least it has flashback. I guess he can take my deck as well. Okay, he took the Grudge. Yes, mana base is not doing super great so far. Maybe we're a little bit ambitious with like multicolor planeswalkers here. I suppose I'll play a Lotus. I don't know if it's going to make it through, but... Okay, and now we can at least cast Grudge if need be. And now we can also cast all of our Planeswalkers. And we can cast Tez, untap and play like Garuk or something. Now we can Tez, untap and play any other Planeswalker. Okay, well there's a Mana Vault. So I have to let it come into play before I have priority. But I kind of want to grudge it. Seething Song, okay. Well, might as well wait to grudge it. Don't want to give him Storm for nothing. Cabal Ritual, okay. Are we just dead? Feels like we might be just dead. What next now? Lion's Eye, okay. This is pretty scary. Turnabout? Time Twister? No, okay, Yawgmoth's Will. No, Brain Freeze? Yep. Now I can just Song, Ritual, like Tendrils and Impulse me, and Brain Freeze me, and I think I'm just dead. Storm 7. Yep. 8. Sure, take my deck. Oh, we are getting just absolutely destroyed. Okay. Well, that was a beating. So I feel like Path and Swords do nothing. Be better off with any 2 cards. Thalia might actually be good here, even though she hurts us. And I feel like Day and Wrath are bad too. I mean, there's if he has the Red Storm card, then they're good. So maybe I keep them just for that. Otherwise, Confluence? It just seems sort of like so uncastable, though. Maybe we Jar? Alright, Jar. Alright. Whew, this is absolute beating. Yes, we'll play first. 2 lands. Yeah, sure, I'll keep. So I think I'll start with the plains just to give me an extra turn to scry here. So there's a little more information. Plus side, if we do draw 2 lands, we can play a Johnny. Okay, that's not what we wanted. And yeah, that'll be good. We'll put that on top. If he plays a deck fade in here, it's just terrible for us. So please don't play that. Land. Nope, not land. Alright, next turn, land. And maybe we can hit a Johnny here. Actually, Faith Fitter's not great against him either, right? But if he has planeswalkers. Okay, there's probably our Johnny. Nope, 3 or less, so that's a whiff at least. Haha. Guess we can necro, but not sure if. Alright, now what? Okay, more cards. Him, okay. Alright. Do we draw a land? Clean up. We never get to clean up stuff. Okay, nope, and that's... Oh, what's happening with my mouse here? It's just drifting. Basically pooned. I guess we discard... Garuk is kind of the least likely to happen here. And I think now we're probably just dead. So I think this deck has not been working as advertised. I certainly thought it was better than this on paper, but in practice what's happening is just a kind of very clunky and not really casting our spells on time. sweetie. Almost done. Getting my butt kicked here. Like, not even close. Okay, and a land, so we can play one thing. So what's the only card we can play? Our Faith's Fetters, which does nothing in a Johnny, so we might as well just play Johnny. And then tap what? I guess the black? The green? What's the green gonna do? Yeah, maybe green gives him like Heartbeat or something, so fine, well. It doesn't untap, doesn't even help. Sure. If our opponent can't just win here. Clicking, okay. Time Spiral, okay. Well, if he somehow ends up having to play the empty the Warrens, then we've got something with Wrath of God. Okay, there goes our relic. Another Quicken. Uh-oh. Turnabout is fair play. Okay. I guess now he just searches for tendrils and plays one other spell and we're dead. No, he just searches for tendrils and we're dead. When? Why? Huh? Oh, he just fizzled. Why? Why fizzle? Because he exiled his tendrils? And Brain Freeze. So yeah, I think the only thing he had left was empty, and then we wrath it. Okay. So wrath was relevant. Okay, that was really don't quite understand how. I don't think that's gonna happen a second time though. Faith's Fetters, yeah, it still hits Planeswalkers. Is there anything else we want to change, like play somehow Sword or something? That just does not seem like that makes sense. Alright, I'll just submit again. Maybe you take out like a Plains and add in like, I don't know, blue or something. Feels very Very random. A red, a blue, oh, just a random blue. Really a bit all over the place. Alright, well, a couple banishing lights. I suppose we'll keep this again. Watery Grave. So I guess it maybe plays like Planeswalkers or something and we can Banishing Light it. Okay. It's all non-land, okay. Now I wish I'd taken that strip mine. Okay, that's at least something I can Banishing Light. So now if we're not totally dead, we can start playing Gideon. Just always yield to this. Alright, that was annoying. Could have used that Gideon. I think we also Banishing Light the Lotus Bloom, right? Okay, luckily that won't be relevant for a while. Come on, Planeswalker? What? Nope, Dark Petition, okay. Instant or sorcery, so it does not get the land. Alright, Grudge is unplayable right now. You can also Faith those letters the library if it comes to that. Time Spiral, okay. Well, now at least we have the Day of Judgment and we have a Johnny. We cannot Faith Fetters the library though. I think I should have just Faith Fetters the library while I could have. But I can at least play a Johnny and tap it. Oh no, because it comes into play tapped. Damn you. So maybe... Is there something else I can play? Not really. Okay, well, at least the Inquisition misses. So now if he's smart, he'll just library end of turn on my turn. But I might just randomly draw a red source. It's low chance, but it might happen. Did not. Okay. We'll just play the Gideon then. I might also be able to play Xenagos and a Johnny. If I activate Gideon as a human and then plus Xenagos. Okay, he is doing it on his turn, so that gives us a chance to lock down. Uh-oh, okay. Okay, that's good, I think. Might not be good if he plays Empty the Warrens. Does he have a counterspell? We haven't really seen any counterspells. I think we saw most of his deck. So I think what we can do is we can play Xenagos for, let's see, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, right? So we have 7 mana and 8 if we activate, if we plus Xenagos. Seems like we're really running into a daze, but that does increase the clock by some. So let's think here. Got him on a 3-turn clock, and then with any one Xenagos hit. Am I trying to be too cute here? Am I trying to be too cute? So basically what I'm thinking is I can make Gideon a human, tap 4 mana to play our Xenagos. We'll have 3 mana left, but then I can plus Xenagos for the remaining red mana needed to also play a Johnny. The question is that buying me anything other at the end of the day, or am I just increasing a chance of running into a counterspell? Kind of unhelpfully. If he has a hard counter, he has a hard counter. But he might have like a, mana leak or something like that, and then Ajana loses to that. I kind of think I'd rather just play that Johnny. I don't think it gives us enough. We're really just playing against mana leak for Spike and that ilk, but he could have sided it in. We don't know, so let's just play it. If he has a counter, he has a counter. Okay. So let's not untap the library. Make this a soldier. And we'll attack. Oh no, we could have anyway, huh? Well, we could have, yeah, it wouldn't have really changed. So definitely miscounted, but we only had the 1 red source anyway, so it wouldn't have made a difference for it would have made a difference for days and for Spike, but not for mana leak. It would have made a difference for Garuk otherwise. So yeah, I'm okay with that. don't forget we can just shoot this to his face. So he is facing down 9. So he's actually technically facing down lethal next turn, right? 6, 7, 8. No. One more. He's not quite, so not quite facing lethal. Okay. Right, let's think. So this will be 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10. We can put him to 10, and then that takes him off Necro and stuff like that. Let's counter mana. We'll have a Temple. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So and then play this. So we can't play Xenagos and Garruk. We might as well play the... Ooh, or can we hit this? No, because we don't have a red and a blue for the Fumarole, so we cannot. That's fine. Okay. Let's play Xenagos. So let's make a Satyr. Let's make him a soldier. Attack. And don't forget to Ajani. Oh yeah, okay, he is at 3. How did I miscount that? Wow, I can't believe we actually won that match. How did I completely miscount that again? Let's see, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, somehow I thought 8 plus 3 was 10 and not 11. Well, don't feel like this deck deserved to win, but I won't look a gift horse in the mouth. Okay, here we are for game 3. I added in an island instead of for 1 plains. I feel like we've been pretty plains heavy, but you know. Definitely our mana base is not good. There's no good answer to this. I'm really surprised we won that match too, but okay. Sure, a Temple, a Signet, a Lotus. You know, we might be able to play some stuff. Let's keep this. So we'll play the turn 1 Temple so that we can play our turn 2 Signet. Yeah, I think a land is good here. We're not going to have our turn 3 deck. That's okay. We may have a turn 3 Monastery Mentor. Now one could make the argument, don't play the Signet just so you can have turn 3 Mentor and that 1 extra guy, but I don't think that's right. I think we should play our Signet. Then if we draw 1 more land, we'll have a Lotus. And we can play stuff. Okay, well that makes a deck possible. So why don't we play the Mentor? And then we can play the tapped Fumarole. And then we'll have deck and maybe take a Signet. What's he going to do? Daze us? Definitely going to feel silly if he dazes us. Force of Will. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's Andy. All right. Well, I'm actually happy for him to remove the Mentor. If we can get that, means we can get our deck fading in. Okay, Gutter Snipe. Okay, so now we can play our deck. Let's see, so red and blue. And he could have the 1 mana counterspell that makes us pay 2 extra. So let's play a land first. Let's just make sure red, blue, and white. That will do it. Now we have to realize if we do play Dak, then we're going to lose him. He will die to Gutter Snipe. So one option would be to plus him, but no, I think just taking, I think it's still good enough to just take the Signet. It's well, not Spell Pierce, but the there's another blue counter spell, like not non-creature spell, pay 2 extra. Okay, so let's just gain control of that. All right. All right, and he would have killed Dak anyway. Well, now any planeswalkers we draw, oh boy, that is really scary. Show and tell, huh? So do we just play Banishing Light here? Let me just look this up, make sure that it works. I mean, if you play some hexproof guy, I think I'd rather play the Lotus and then we can just Banishing Light whatever he plays. Because if it's hexproof, we're effed anyway, right? Yeah. Or do we get to see what it is? I think we both have to decide at the same time, right? I mean, it could be like an Iona. If it's an Iona, then it's really bad for us. And we should have put it. But if it's a hexproof guy, like an Inkwell, then we're kind of dead anyway, aren't we? I think I'm okay with putting the Lotus and then we can light and still play like whatever planeswalker we draw if we're lucky enough to get one. So yeah, I'll just put Lotus into play. Yeah, the Banishing Light's going to be really painful, but it's only 2 lands each, so it's not the worst. And we can still Banishing Light it and then play the planes, so then we don't lose anything, but has no... Then he loses all his lands. So I think we actually come out ahead there. Yeah. Okay, so now we Banishing Light, and if we're lucky, also play Planeswalker? No, we're not lucky. Okay, so let's just play the light. He conceded. All right. Then we had Day of Judgment and no actual threats for a while, except an eventual Elspeth. But okay. So red-blue show and tell. Definitely the wraths and stuff seem really great. He's got at least 2 counter spells, if not more. But I think we just run it back. Okay. Well, that's some bunch of temples and a coalition relic and some planeswalkers. We'll keep this. So I think we want the Oath. So let's play the Temple of Abandon first. So we have the green mana. Ooh, Tameo, yes. Tameo sounds great. Okay, so now we play Needle Spires. Comes into play tapped. And then we play the Oath. To counter that, he can counter that. And creature, land, or planeswalker. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and I'm okay. If he counters the relic, that's fine. I think just more planeswalkers is what we want here. What's he going to do? Show and tell? And if he counters the relic, that's kind of problematic. If he counters any of the planeswalkers, that's kind of fine. We have lots more deck. Okay, so now relic just does not seem like the best play here. So I think we'll be passing on that. About the worst thing I can imagine giving him. So let's just play a temple now, and then we can start kind of hitting with Xenagos. That seems really good. Lots of problematic artifacts that we want to kill. Let's try this here. It's kind of a non-play here. And we'll just do Xenagos, and then Teza is actually pretty terrible. So I think Xenagos and then like Tameo or Gideon. What's his ultimate do? When we cast a spell that targets permanents, well, we definitely don't want that now, do we? That's actually going to be a big problem if... oh, yikes. That's really going to hurt. Yeah, now... As painful as this is, we might have to play the relic just so that he doesn't ultimate Dak. That's bad. Yow. Well, no. We can play... Let's see. Let's think about this. We play planes. Next turn he pluses Dak. And then if he counters whatever we play, we're pretty much effed. Or we play the relic now just to make him minus, and we kind of give him a relic. That just seems like that can't be good news. No. I know he's got the counters, but I feel giving him a relic, that just can't be right. So let's maybe let's go on the hope he doesn't have a counter plan. And he is tapping out for Echo, possibly. So if he does, then that limits his counters to Force of Will. Okay, he did not. So now he probably does have a counter. No, it's looking bad. Maybe he'll play some sort of artifact we can grudge. Oh, now he's probably got Mystic Confluence. Frantic Surge. So he could have Counterspell. If he has counter... Oh, Christ. Guess we have to play the land, right? An Emrakul. Protection from instants. That's really not good. Okay, and we can't actually judgment the Emrakul. Well, we can, but then... Oh god, do we let him just have his stupid Jace ultimate? No, we can't even judgment. This is really bad. So I guess our only option now is to make a Xenagos and see if we can fight through the ultimate. Okay. Not great. I feel like he has a counterspell anyway, and then we're just kind of dead. Okay. Just make a guy. Yeah, he's just gonna kill it. Okay, well, he didn't ultimate his deck. So... maybe there's a world where we draw a Plains, we judgment Emrakul, and then we hit deck? Flying anyway. Just hitting us, okay. We get our own deck. And no way to actually deal with Emrakul, do we? Because we needed an extra mana to be able to, say, Tameo. Or even Gideon would have been great. And these do nothing, right? Okay, just concede. Alright, of course, now I did wish I had the double white. Maybe I just put this back in for the white. I don't really know what I'm doing here mana-wise, but I feel like a lot of this white stuff is pretty important to cast. Alright. Well, O-Ring seems quite strong against him. We still haven't seen too many artifacts from him. But, yeah, I like this. We'll keep. Just the fact that there's O-Ring, I like that. So we'll play the Fumarole first. And to give us one more turn on the Scry if need be. Okay, Breeding Pool Wall. Still okay with waiting. No, don't pay. Okay, good. I'd like to see a Signet. I'd like to see something I can grudge. It always makes me happy. Not as happy as a Dak Faden would make me happy. That would make me more happy. But, let's now... We don't want to get dazed. Not really. So let's play it a little bit on the safe end. And then we also leaves this open to flashback the grudge. Yeah, all right, I like that. Do I do this now? If he has a daze? No, I think I do it on my turn, just so that, again, if he has like a mana leak or something. No, let's not run into unnecessary counter spells. So he could have a mana leak. And yeah, mana leak would be painful. So what I want to do is I want to play the temple tapped so that next turn I can play a turn 5 Tamiyo. That's what I would like to do. That play runs into possible mana leak. But, you know, that's okay because he'll... Yeah, I'm okay with that because then it means like there's clearance for Tamiyo, for example, and he spends it on that instead of something else. And if there's some other one of his like daze type counter spells, I can still pay for it. So let's try that. I can also O-ring the Signet if I really need to, which feels not great. I feel like it'd be much better off O-ring whatever he show and tells him to play. Oh, he's deciding. Okay, mana leak. It is mana leak. Okay. Well, alright. I knew that was a possibility. Path's not going to be good against Emrakul, but would be good against many other spells that he could have. So let's put that on top. Okay, frantic search. Okay, didn't want the Sundering Titan. Interesting. Okay, so feels like he probably has a counterspell of some kind, like a cryptic command. Maybe we just play Gilded Lotus here. Yeah, let's just play Gilded Lotus. See if he lets us have that. He did. Okay. Resta, okay. That's a card we can path if need be. Okay. can pass that. Gets it tapped, right?
Yeah.
I feel like playing the Tamiya is just going to run into a counterspell here. I think he almost certainly has like Cryptic or something. So I'd kind of want to... Sundering Titans in the graveyard. I kind of want to just play more lands until I can play like 2 threats at once. Okay, he did let me have it. Okay, so why don't I just play the Temple Garden? And then I just don't feel like running Tamiya into a counterspell, so... now he might take Dak, which would be pretty annoying. He might play Dak, sorry, which would be really annoying. But, Avalanche Riders, okay. And doesn't have enough for Cryptic now. Could have been attacking with Funeral too. Huh? I kind of forgot about that. I need to pay more attention. Alright. So he can't have Cryptic, he can't have Mystic Confluence, so the worst he could have is Counterspell. Really just Counterspell, right? Because Force of Will won't do it. So if he has Counterspell, he has Counterspell. 3, 4, 5. We'll play Tamiya. Okay, it landed, so let's just tap the Avalanche Riders. And we can play Plains. Alright, so that's one active Planeswalker. Let's see if he decides to pay Echo. He does not. Okay. And that would attack. Inferno Titan. That is terrifying. Okay. And now he has only one spell, so we can Ring and or Judgment the Titan. I kind of think the answer is to play as conservatively as possible. This deals with like an Emrakul and other stuff, so I think we just tap the Titan, right? And keep kind of trying to plus Tamiya here. True name Nemesis. Okay, that is annoying. Luckily, I think I can vote for it. So let's see if he lets me play Council's Judgment. If he has a counter, that's a bit tough. Okay, so let's vote for the TNN. Okay, and let's plus Tamio. And I suppose, yeah, if he takes Dak, you don't really need to play the Relic though. So why, if he does play a Dak, why give him Lotus and Relic? That just doesn't seem great. Yeah, I think we're better off just not playing, right? Because with Lotus, we can actually now play any Planeswalker we have. So I don't see a benefit to playing any of these cards. Fumarole would have been nice here. Would have been winning with that. Wonder how much damage I gave up by not attacking with Fumarole. 4 mana, so maybe not that many turns, but still perhaps a few. Okay, there's an Elspeth. That's something I might want to Oblivion Ring. Yeah, stupid soldier will prevent Tamio from upticking. Well, let's cancel first. Let's first cast the O-Ring on Elspeth. Okay. Got that. And yeah, now we'll just keep blocking down the Titan. I mean, we should eventually be drawing like a Wrath or something like that. Still don't see what Relic or playing lands brings us. Oh, okay, and now our own Elspeth. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We could have a Mystic Confluence here. But if he plays Mystic Confluence in all 3 modes, yeah, we still can't play 9 mana, so. Let's see how Elspeth does. Okay, it worked. So we could destroy all the creatures, but then Elspeth would die, and that's no fun. Let's do that. And then let's tap Mr. Titan here. Okay. Alright, now we have pretty good board control. You could have that stupid red card that lets you take Planeswalkers, so don't forget about that. Block with everyone. In case he has some like mutagenic growth, or I don't know what. Uh-oh. Emrakul? Okay, so it is Emrakul. Okay. Well, what does he do? And then I get another turn, right? So tap my own stuff. So it's just minusing for nothing, okay. And then what? Destroy all creatures? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And that way I can't destroy them both. Oh, he did. He did. Why did he do that? I think that must have been like a misclick or misunderstanding or something like that, because that was definitely a bad play on his part. Well, I ended up going 2-1 with this kind of bizarro Planeswalkers deck. I think was actually not very good in matches 1 and 2, but match 3 ended up being sort of exactly what we wanted, with sort of grindy Planeswalker value and lots of white removal. So anyway, thanks for watching. That was an interesting one, and we'll see you next time.